In my last video, I talked about doing a no-spend January, and I mentioned that before I even started, I sat down and wrote out every single bill and all of our income. Don't get me wrong, it's not because I love spreadsheets, I don't, but because I realized I had never actually seen the whole picture in one place. Well, I have, just not in a long time. And if you're trying to catch up on retirement, that really matters. We all need to know how much money we bring in and how much we have to spend on our necessities and our retirement savings. For a long time, I felt like I should be saving more, but I didn't really know why it wasn't happening. You see, my husband and I have lived debt free for over 20 years, and that even includes paying off our mortgage about 8 years ago. We have gone through periods of time in our life where we made a substantial amount of money, and we've gone through periods in our life where our money was very slim. I truly wished I would have invested more when money was more abundant, but I can't look back and beat myself up. I can only look forward. Well, let's look back for a minute because maybe this will help somebody not make this mistake. I've never been one to fully trust the stock market. I always felt it was manipulated, so I didn't really want any part of it. I think that might have been a mistake in my thinking. In fact, I had about $25,000 saved in an IRA around 2008, 2009 when the stock market was really declining. I got scared and I pulled it all out against the advice from my accountant. I paid all the taxes and the penalties. That was nearly 18 years ago. Can you imagine how much I'd have now if I wouldn't have done that and gotten scared? I think a lot of our decisions, lack of decisions, are based in fear or scarcity, or maybe just living for the moment instead of really thinking about the future. Can you relate? So money would come in, bills would get paid, and whatever was left just seemed to disappear. I told you we've lived debt free, and that's true. We also put pretty much everything that we can on our credit cards. But before you freak out, we also paid them off in full every single month. We also utilized credit cards to build up points for travel. In fact, we've traveled for free, meaning at least plane tickets, 25 years. That was a huge savings, and it was something that we would not have done if it wasn't for free flights. I do think that was a wise decision. But with that being said, when you just put stuff on credit cards and that bill comes in and you know you have to pay it off in full that month, sometimes it takes up all that extra money and then there's nothing left to save. That's been our problem as of late. In the previous videos, I mentioned that I had a health crisis that lasted a few years where I couldn't work and hardly made any money. So we're living on one income to this day. In fact, it's not a big income, it's an average middle class income, definitely under six figures. And with today's inflation, it's tough. So, really writing everything down that comes in and what goes out really helps us to take a serious look and be able to create a plan going forward to help us reach our retirement goals. I figure it this way: we can keep doing what we've always done, and another year is going to pass, and another one, and then it will be time to retire, or a time when we physically won't be able to work anymore and have to retire. So we don't want to have that be our situation. So let's get serious with this and help each other. So you want to know how I did this? It wasn't complicated. I didn't use any fancy software or build a spreadsheet. I actually went on to Etsy and I found somebody who did all the spreadsheet stuff for me. I paid just under $3 for an instant download where I just had to input the income, every bill, every subscription, and it calculated everything for me. If you would like a link, just comment link down below. I don't get paid to give you the link. I'm just offering it because that's what I used, and it was very helpful. There's several of them out there on Etsy. Seeing everything written out in one place was eye-opening, not scary, just honest. Once everything was on paper, I could finally see what was actually left at the end of the month. And that's when I realized it's not that I wasn't trying, I just didn't have clarity, and so much of it was being eaten up by the extra expenses on our credit cards. That's why No Spend January made sense for me. Now I know exactly what I'm working with, and every dollar I don't spend has a purpose, not just to sit in an account or buy little tchotchkes here and there that I don't need. It will help me move closer to retirement. If you're watching this and thinking, It's scary to write everything down. I get it. But avoiding it doesn't help, and facing it doesn't mean failure. It just means you're being honest with yourself. Now, if you're living with high interest debt, your first goal needs to be getting out of debt. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. So people just tend to ignore it. But you can't. If you're facing retirement, just plug away at it. Whatever you can put towards that debt will help you. And you will feel freer and freer as that debt balance goes down. I'm not a financial planner or a money guru by any means, but I can tell you I have lived debt free, and I can tell you it's wisest to always pay off the highest interest bearing account first. And once that one's paid off, you take that same amount of money that you were putting towards that first one onto the next highest interest debt, and it just kind of snowballs, and soon you'll be out of debt completely. Once that happens, you can really start saving for retirement. None of us are in the same exact financial situation, but if you're here watching this video, we're all in the same boat with trying to figure out how to catch up with retirement. And now in my next video, I'm going to talk about what I'm planning to do with what's left about saving and investing, and the questions I'm asking about where money should go at this age of life. If you're navigating money later in life like me, subscribe and stick around. We're not behind, we're just getting clear. We can do this. Just think, this time next year, how much progress we will have made. But we've got to do it. It will take effort. But we got this. Leave me a comment and let me know if you're going to be on this journey with me. Happy 2026 to everyone, and here's to a prosperous, healthy new year.